Hi everyone, it's Laura here from Yoga Love Collective. Today I'm going to be holding a really short tutorial on the arm balance Ekapada Koundiyasana 1. This is a posture, this is a movement, this is an arm balance that I integrated into this week's mandala flow, and it got a few questions, so I thought I would do a short tutorial on the transition into it and how to get the most out of it. So come to your yoga mat. I'm going to quickly show you the transition that we did in our mandala class this week. So we came from a seated twist, half lord of the fishes. So with the leg crossed over, the right leg crossed over the left leg being the underside leg. We started to lift our weight forward. We curled the back toes under and then walk the hands over to the right hand side. The hands flat, elbows bent, and then we leant into the upper arms with our right thigh and started to shift the weight into the hands, lifting the feet off the floor, either staying in a cross-legged or unraveling the legs and coming into our Ekapada Koundiyasana 1 pose. From there, we brought the legs back into our twist and came back to sit down. Okay, I'll show you from this angle as well. Okay, so from half forward of the fishes, brought the weight forward, tuck the back toes under and lift the underside knee. Walk the hands over to the right, hands flat on the floor, bend the elbows and lean into our upper arms. Shift the weight forward into the hands, lifting the feet, either keeping the legs crossed or we took the legs wide and came into Ekapada. Bring the legs back into cross and coming back to sit down. Whew. Okay. It's one of my favourite transitions actually. I enjoy that type of balance, is fun. The Ekapada itself, when we come into that final expression of the posture, can throw up a few questions. So one of the questions I got asked was, how do we take the legs apart? So if we look at the actual arm balance itself, if I show you from this angle here, the hands are going to be flat in the same position, as wide as they would be for downward facing dog, for plank. Okay, so hands shoulder width. Going to turn the knees to the side. Okay, my hands are going to stay there. So from the center, swivel on your feet and turn the knees to the side. Okay, so at this point, the knees are pointing to the left and my right knee is touching my left elbow. Yeah, so this contact here. And at this stage, this elbow over here is free, there's no contact. My hip is just slightly set back, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to think about bending the arms. And as we bend the elbows, we're gonna lean the shoulders forward in a forward moving direction. I'm gonna press into the feet in order to do that. And as I press into my feet, I also want to lift my hips up, okay? So those things need to happen simultaneously. Start to bend the elbows, lean the shoulders forward. Now can you see here, I'm taking this elbow, this flying elbow, and I'm going to turn it slightly in, and I'm going to bring it toward my right hip, okay? And as I do those things simultaneously, lift the hips, move the shoulders forward, and bend my arms. I'm able at that point to lift my feet off the floor, okay? If that isn't something you're still working with, all I want you to practice is that rocking forward and rocking back, forward and back. And then maybe with time, you'll be able to find confidence to lift the feet off the floor. So stage 1, we come into our balance, okay? I'll also demonstrate from this side. So hands flat, knees in between the arms, and I'm going to turn my knees to the left. Can you see? Left elbow to the right knee. Okay, looking forward, I bend my elbows and move my shoulders forward and lift my hips simultaneously. Okay? Right elbow into the right hip, look forward, lean forward, and let the feet lift off the floor. Okay? So before we come into the next stage, I've already pointed out there where you're looking is really, really crucial. It's natural for us when we are trying any type of inversion or arm balance to look down. We also want to see what the feet are doing, we want to see what the body's doing. And if I do a demonstration of how that might end up badly, if I'm looking down, right, my head's just going to come down. Yeah, think of the weight of your pelvis that you're trying to lift, and think of the weight of your skull. All right, so we want to use those two parts to counteract each other. So where you look is really, really important. So if you're in that phase of that transition phase and you're trying to lift your feet, look forward, lengthen your throat, look slightly forward beyond your fingertips. See if that gives you a little bit more lift, okay? Now, the next stage, so if you're at that point comfortably, okay, you're working with your balance, you're coming up, the knees are together, the feet are together, and you're pointing your feet, energizing your legs as you come into your balance. Now that's the stage we need to start thinking about taking the legs into the expression of Ekapada Koundiyasana 1, okay? So I always like to think of it that the leg that is in contact with my arms is my bottom leg, okay? And the bottom leg has only got one way to go. Because it's connecting the arms, all it can do is that movement there. All it can do is straighten, all right? So the bottom leg extends, we straighten the knee, and the top leg is the one that we want to send upward toward the ceiling. So I'm going to show you. So, hand shoulder width, bend elbows, bring them into the right thigh, look forward, shift away. Okay, so bottom leg is going to come forward. Top leg is going to lift up. Knees back together, feet back together. Okay, so all of these things, we need to think about them happening simultaneously. There's a lot to think about at the same time. But with anything, like with anything, we just have to keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing, okay? Keep practicing. So I'm going to show you again. All right, we lean forward. Now, the knees are together, the feet are together, your top leg. I want you to think about the knees separating. As you lift your top leg, lift the thigh away from your inner thigh, lift your thigh away from your bottom leg. So if you take a pause and observe, I'll try and demonstrate that. I'll try and exaggerate that movement so you can see. We lift forward. Think about your thighs moving away from each other. Now your bottom leg has only got one direction to go, and that's to straighten. Your top leg has only got room to lift up. Okay, I'll try that again. It's hard to do it all at the same time. It's a hard, challenging posture. Okay, so top leg lifts up, bottom leg straightens. Knees back together, come back together. All right, take a pause. I'm going to show you on the other side now as well, just so that you can have a go, make sure you have a go on both sides. So sometimes we can get stuck, can't we, on that, where the legs need to go. The tendency is to take, what I see a lot of is the top leg we take forward and the bottom leg kind of just gets a little bit lost. The top leg only has one direction, and that's to move apart, to move away from the underside leg. The underside leg is the one that's glued to the elbows, and all that can do is straighten. So you're going to sweep the underside leg forward, and the top leg is going to move away. It's going to lift upward toward the ceiling. Okay, I'm going to show you on the other side now. So, hands shoulder width on the floor, spread your fingers, knees in between your arms. Keep your hands where they are, but then I want you to turn your knees to the right. So now we have left knee, right elbow, okay? So we look forward, we bend our arms, we start to shift the weight into the hands and lift the feet. So what do? Bottom leg can only straighten. So you want to sweep that leg forward at the same time, lift your top leg away from the bottom and lift it upward toward the ceiling as you straighten your underside knee. Knees back together, feet back onto the floor. Okay, I'll do that one more time. I'll demonstrate that one more time. So, hands to the side, bend the elbows, lean into it, look forward. Shift the weight, top leg lifts, straighten that top leg, lift it up toward the ceiling, and then straighten your underside leg. You got it? Knees back together, feet back onto the floor. Well done, take a pause. Just release your wrist, interlace your fingers. Maybe wrist a little release. Press your palms forward. Good, back of hands. And then bring the hands into a reverse prayer. And like jellyfish or like octopus legs. Just release into your fingers. Scrunch up the fingers, release them. Good. No real gentle pressure into the back of the hands. Bring them by the sides of your knees. Just a little bit of gentle stretching for the back of the wrists. You can always do this warm up. You can also do this warm up at the beginning as well. But make sure you take a little bit of time just to release the wrists. Good. Give them a shake. Wonderful. And then to conclude, we'll see if we can bring those two together, okay? So come into your half lord of the fishes. So you're seated, twist. Right leg is on top, left leg is underneath. Bring your weight forward into the hands and tuck your left toes under and lift your left knee. Lift the hips. Walk your hands over to the right side. Place them shoulder width apart. Bend your elbows and start to lean your right thigh in toward your elbows. So we either keep the legs crossed as we lift the feet, or we start to lift the left leg upward as we extend the right foot forward. Bring the legs back into cross and come back to your twist. Change sides. Left leg over the right. Take a nice long breath in and a long breath out. Good. Okay, hands forward. Lift the hips. Tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. Walk your hands over to the left. Bend your elbows and bring your elbows in towards your left thigh. Look forward, stretch the front of your neck. Shift the weight into the hands. Top leg, right leg is going to lift up to the ceiling. Bottom leg is going to straighten out to the side. Bring yourself back to your seated twist. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Well done. Release the cross. Release the twist. Taking on with me, deep inhale. Let it go. Inhale to chant. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found this little tutorial useful and helpful. As we delve into this week, we are looking at the attitude piece, and we are looking at the first letter, practice. And in Patanjali's yogic teachings, he refers to this as abhyasa. Yeah, it's a practice that needs to be regular, needs to be consistent, and it needs to be done for a long time. Okay, so my advice to you is to keep going, keep practicing, keep trying, and amongst all of your experiences, be compassionate. Have moments where you feel vulnerable, emotional, and all else that is involved in leading a human experience. Yeah, don't deny yourself of being human, but we keep practicing, keep trying. Thank you so much for joining me. Lots of love, and I'll see you real soon.